without a trace. Defeat in 45. They all came out of the woodwork on the day the Nazi died. They say the prisoner of Spandau was a symbol of defeat. Whilst Hess remained in prison, then the fascists they would beat. So the promise of an Aryan world would never materialize. So why did they all come out of the woodwork on the day the Nazi died? The world is riddled with maggots. The maggots are getting fat. They're making a tasty meal of all the bosses and bureaucrats. They're taking over the boardrooms and they're fat and full of pride. And they all came out of the woodwork on the day the Nazi died. So if you meet with these historians, I'll tell you what to say. Tell them that the Nazis never really went away. They're out there burning houses down and peddling racist lies. And we'll never rest again until every Nazi dies.
Woke up one morning and there were soldiers. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Woke up one morning and there were soldiers. The invasion had begun. Lend me your shoulder, we'll stand together. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Lend me your shoulder, we'll stand together. But I feel my time has come, and if I die here for the resistance, oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. And if I die here for the resistance, you must lay me in my grave among the flowers upon the mountain. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Among the flowers upon the mountain, let me rest among the brave. Someday the people will pick the flowers. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Someday the people will pick the flowers, and they will remember my name. This is the flower of the resistance. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. This is the flower of the resistance, and those who died for liberty. This is the flower of the resistance. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. This is the flower of the resistance, and those who died for liberty. This is the flower of the resistance, and those who died for liberty.
Come all of you good workers, good news to you I'll tell of how the good old Union has come in here to dwell.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
My daddy was a miner and I'm a miner's son, and I'll stick with the Union till every battle's won.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
They say in Harlan County there are no neutrals there. You'll either be a Union man or a thug for J.H. Blair.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Oh, workers, can you stand it? Oh, tell me how you can. Will you be a lousy scab or will you be a man?
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Don't scab for the bosses, don't listen to their lies. Us poor folks haven't got a chance unless we organize.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Street where the lion runs to beat, and the modeling English people walked all over us. And every single night when they tell, come home tight, he'd invite the neighbours out with his chorus. Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like Galloway from the green and lovely lace of Gilshandra. Tell us how you slew them old Arabs 2 by 2. Like the Zulus, they had knives, bows and arrows. Of how bravely you faced one with your 16-pounder gun, and you frightened all the natives to the marrow. Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like Galloway from the green and lovely lace of Gilshandra.
Hello there, hello there, hello there, everybody. How the devil are you all? I am surprisingly well. Thank you for asking. I'll get into why surprising shortly. How are we all? Are we well? What have we been up to? Apologies I wasn't here for the last couple of days. I had planned on being here yesterday, but unfortunately, the privatised electricity system's also shite. I wonder if they'll be giving me the time, a discount on the massive bills they're going to be sending to me for electricity. Given that there were several hours in which I didn't fucking have it. Curious. Like, it's, and to be fair, it's alright for me, but like, there's a woman a few doors down who has fucking insulin that they have to keep in the fridge. It's mad. Thankfully, she had a fucking emergency backup thing so she could keep her fridge going. But you shouldn't have to have that to not die. Or become very sick, I suppose. But whatever. Anyway. Yeah, privatisation is so efficient that we don't even get electricity anymore. What's more efficient than no electricity? Modern problems, modern solutions. Would you get your sideburns waxed for charity? I mean, I've got no problem with that on a kind of, I don't know, moral level or whatever, but I was led to believe that waxing one's face was actually not healthy. Apparently it's quite bad for your skin. And not in like a, oh, it'll make you look a bit old. Like you can fuck your skin up and stop the hair growing again and stuff, you know. So basically, no, I guess. I'd have my hair cut off or whatever. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. What are we getting tonight? A slap in the balls. No, I'm only joking. There's some stuff. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. Anyway. But no, my electricity is back now, so...
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
Well, quite literally. As you can tell, my electricity's back. I'm not running this. I didn't go around my neighbour's house and steal the emergency backup generator thing. Actually, it's not a backup generator, it's just like a storage block thing with electricity in it. I don't know how you store electricity. Actually, I don't even know how any of it works. The electricity comes through the wires, and the little electric imps make my TV go on. I don't fucking know.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
That's already annoying. Gennaro, I think we've come to the end of the line, mate. The alert box is being turned off. You've spoken twice, and I already fucking hate it. Not only did you put out one of the Irish teams from the north of that country, which shouldn't be a separate team, but whatever, out of the World Cup qualification this week, but you're also an annoying bastard, the voice. So I'm going to have to change that to anything else. Or nothing. I'd prefer nothing at this stage. A battery, surely. No, it's not like a battery, because... Well, I suppose it is a bat. Yeah, I suppose it is. But she plugs it into the wall, and it like sucks the electricity out of the wall into the thing that she can then use to plug things into when she needs it later. Does that make sense? So it's not like a battery that you buy and it's just like a power bank. Is that what it's called? I don't fucking know. I didn't. But I didn't really ask her about it. I didn't want to pry. So, Kev, would you consider managing Spurs right now? No, I've already got a shit job. No, I'm fine, thanks. What did you make of the Green Conference? An absolute shit show. Yeah, I'll get to that in a second. Anyway. Right. So, anyway. Yeah, I wasn't here the last couple of days. I was feeling a bit rough, actually. And then today, I had... genuinely one of the best days ever, and not because I achieved very much at all, but because of the happiness of one small child. Yeah. So, well, and the happiness of my mother. Anyway, my mum was looking after my nephew, my little 2-year-old nephew, and I said, like, oh, what are you getting up to? And she said, oh, we might go somewhere, blah blah blah. And I said, oh, I'll give you a lift if you want. And eventually I ended up getting roped into, not just like, I thought it was going to be giving her a lift into like, you know, one of the areas of, you know, interest within the, you know, a 5-mile radius. No, ended up being a whole day where we went to Evesham, which is not very close. It's close enough, like it's not the end of the fucking world or anything, but and at the other side of that there's like a heritage steam railway. And our little lad, I nearly said his name. I can't say his name. Let's give him a false name. I'm going to name him T'Challa, to be culturally sensitive. Anyway, little T'Challa was Adolf. Who the fuck? No one's called Adolf anymore. Whereas T'Challa's a normal name. Anyway, little T'Challa loves trains, right? But can't talk very well. So he says shoo shoo instead of choo choo, because he can't even say chew, because he's fucking stupid. No, he's 2, right? He's getting there. He's getting there. Anyway, and so, and he loves trains, right? He loves Thomas the Tank Engine. He loves watching trains. He's got train toys. He's a train enthusiast. So I'm going to guess autistic as fuck already. Like, obviously. Like, obviously. Anyway. So we went on this steam train, and he fucking loved it. He loved every bit of it. He loved, like, getting the ticket. He loved holding the ticket and handing the ticket to the man. And then he had like one of those old-timey hole punch things, and he was like, ah, and he loved it. We got on there, and we, you know, went on the fucking train journey and all of that. And then after the thing, right, so that was all amazing. Seeing his joy at that was genuinely, like, made me feel so much better. It lifted a cloud from me, because, like, I've been feeling a bit rough. My sleeping's been bad. You know, I'm sleeping at fucking weird hours, and you know, we've had some IRL issues. Nothing absolutely catastrophic, but not good. And so, so that was really nice. And then at the end, right, He smiled so much, his face must have been getting tired, I'm sure. But at the end of the thing, right, we got off the train and we took him to like the engine part of the train, the engine like compartment bit. And the driver like let him go on the thing, right, and he came off and he loved all of that. He loved looking at the coals that were fiery and stuff. And then as we got off, he went, would he be scared if I blew the horn? Not blew the horn. What the fuck's it called? What did he say? Fuck. Anyway, the steam thing, right? And we went, no, I love it. And he went on the thing, the steam whistle, and the look on little T'Challa's face was like his face lit up. It was the happiest that any creature has ever been in the history of the world. I promise you that. It blew his tiny little mind, and it was the sweetest, most pure joy that could ever exist. Because there was literally there's no ulterior motive there. There's no other thought passing through that little creature's mind than, this is fucking amazing. I don't know how he's making that happen. There is steam coming out of the silver fucking thing up there. This is incredible. I love this. This is the greatest moment in the history of mankind. And his face was just a joy. He loved every part of it. And that for me just raised my spirits. That entire thing was just incredible. To see the purity of that joy and to see him so happy. I felt 10 years younger. I still do. I say I still do. It's like 5 hours later. Anyway, yeah. It's beautiful. I enjoyed it enormously. So that's why I'm feeling surprisingly good. Because I wasn't this morning, but I am now. Anyway. Trua Museum in Leeds. Well, that's Leeds. I'm not driving to fucking Leeds for a train museum. I don't dislike trains, but I'm not a massive fan of trains. My nephew likes trains. I couldn't give a fuck, really. It's a nice experience, but I can take it or leave it. If there wasn't a nice child there enjoying the experience, it would have just been me and my mum talking about stuff, which is nice, but I can do that over the phone. Hitler isn't even Adolf. What? Chemist nears 3 dozen retractions for image duplication. What the racking up 35 retractions in just 24 months. Chemist Hitler Louis has scored a Who the fuck names their kid Hitler? And then just to make it even more funny, Louis, who also goes by Louis Hitler Mouzon. So if Louis why not go with Louis Mouzon? That's a perfectly reasonable name. Why go by Hitler at all in any part of that? I'm looking at this, by the way, dude. Actually, I'm looking at the show. It's called Retraction Watch. It's about science and shite. Who cares? But well, obviously science is cool. But I mean, who cares about this particular website? Anyway, he is a black man as well. Which does slightly improve the situation, because at least you're I don't think he's going to do another Nazi thing, because, that would be weird. Although I suppose if you can have fucking wasp white nationalists follow a guy called Fuentes, maybe Black Hitler could lead a white supremacist uprising. I don't fucking know anymore. Anyway. Yes, noises happened, didn't they? Apologies. Thank you to Carl Brown for gifting a couple of memberships. Much love to you, my friend. Thank you to John Holmes for 21 months. All of that on the Yam Tubes. And thank you, Bonky Boy, for 7 months of Prime. Much love to you. Don't forget, do not forget, chat, that you can give me money in the various ways that you already know you can, I think. Do I need to repeat them? Probably not. Yeah. Hitler faces Zelensky as French town's election contest goes viral. A small French town has won instant internet fame because its mayor, running for re-election in Sunday's municipal election, goes by the name of Hitler. That's Hitler with 2 T's. Not just that, but one of his opponents is called Zelensky. Charles Hitler, or supposed to be Charles Hitler, mayor of Ossis-sur-Aube, a population of 2,785, so basically not a place. Yeah, okay. It's in Alsace. Of course it's in the German bit. Oof. Grim. Anyway, Swirly Cully has reached a 60 stream streak. That's very sad. Oh, for fuck's sake! Absolutely roasted. No, hang on a minute. No. There we go. Mr. Streamy had a power cut. You've torched me there. You've absolutely roasted, boasted, and posted. Ruined I've been. Ruined.
You just assaulted me.
But my favourite one, just because it sounds like someone taking the piss, is the name of the baseball player, Cam Schlittler. That is not a person I've made up. Cam Schlittler. Like, that's the kind of name that, like, Hitler makes up to try and, like, pretend it's not Hitler anymore. Oh, no, I'm not the Führer. I'm Mr. Schlittler. That's very much the Hitler version of Guy Incognito. Just saying. Jizz Horncamp. Best name ever. Best name ever. Anyway. Mr. Hitler from Monty Python. True. Although they have lots of sketches where Hitler does appear, so, yeah. And of course we know the real Hitler is Jeremy Corbyn. So, come on now. So, yeah, someone asked me about the Green Party thing. For those who don't know, on, was it Saturday or Sunday? I forget which day. The Green Party had their national conference. It was an all-electronic conference, i.e. they were doing it by, like, online and stuff. Which is a bit rough, I think, given that, you know, there are lots of older people who wouldn't be able to participate in that. So that's not ideal, I think. But, you know. Even so, they held it online. And it was a fucking shit show. For one main reason. Zionists, as always. Well, actually not. To be fair, there were also some technical problems, which wasn't a Zionist-related issue, as far as we are currently aware. But other than that, it was Zionist, right? Because there was a motion before the conference to vote to make it the official party policy to that Zionism is racism. Zionism is a form of racism. Which is absolutely true, and one such thing I would support, having that policy, because it's just correct. But it was timed out, essentially. Zionists put up all kinds of stupid fucking time-wasting devices, all within inside the rules, but still, in order to make sure that it couldn't get properly discussed and therefore voted on. So it wasn't voted down, it just wasn't discussed. It didn't get rejected, it just got stymied. Which is rough. Now, I don't think it's necessarily the National Party's, like, fault that this took place. Because you have to allow sort of the process to play out and see where you go from there. But I think the party in general should look at its rules. Should look at its rules. Because, like, This is going to sound like a weird sentence, but let me flesh it out afterwards before you react. The Green Party has done really well out of the genocide in Palestine. Now, I don't mean like they've been gun running for Israel or something, or fucking doing spy flights. That's the national UK government, unfortunately, who's been doing both of those things. No, they've done well in terms of their policy of being against the genocide. That's not what happened. Stop lying. Well, tell me what did happen. Don't shout about it. Give me your alternative point of view, if you wish. Anyway, the Green Party's done well out of it because, politically speaking, because its opposition to genocide in Palestine, its opposition to Zionism in a broad sense, Zach Polanski's sort of stridency when it comes to okay, sudo, if you continue to type in caps, we'll actually just get rid of you. I don't mind you disagreeing with me, right? By all means disagree with me, disagree with anyone in chat, just don't fucking shout about it. If you can't have a civil discourse, you won't be having a discourse. Okay? That is your one warning. There's no 3 strikes and you're out here. You get one fucking warning. If you carry on, we'll get rid of you. So just chill. Anyway. It has galvanised, the party's sort of stance on Palestine has galvanised a significant kind of disparate coalition of peoples to support the Green Party. You have kind of religiously conservative Muslims who are prepared to overlook its policies when it comes to LGBT issues that they probably disagree with, and economics that they might disagree with, and various other things, because they think this is like an important thing that needs to be dealt with right now. You have people from the kind of more Corbynite urban left that obviously are behind that. You have people in the countryside who might not necessarily even be that left wing, but can clearly see that this is genocide and that that's not cool, so don't do that. But you have all these kind of different people coming together to support the party's stance on that, and that's been part of the party's rise, is that they're one of the very, very few parties, or basically the only party in terms of prominent national parties across the whole of the UK. Plaid Cymru and SNP voters, chill. I'm talking about the entire UK, right? I understand that the SNP and Plaid Cymru have been good on this. They're the only party that's basically been against the genocide, and so they've made a lot of political capital out of that. And what they mustn't do is fall into the trap that a lot of politicians do of thinking that because they've got that support's basically just there, and that they can then sort of ignore those issues to try and reach out to other voters that they don't currently have. Broadening your base is a very usual strategy. It's one of the ways in which you try and build your party into a genuine party, potentially that could form a government at some point in the future. That's understandable. But what they mustn't do is take these voters for granted. Now, the party currently as it stands didn't really do anything wrong. The party's rules as it stands were abused by Zionists to stop any real discussion of this thing taking place. But the party needs to back up its words with action. Okay? If it actually does support the Palestinian people, and it does actually oppose Zionism, and it does actually oppose the Israeli government's genocide of the Palestinian people, it needs to change its rules so as to not be abusable by bad faith actors like Zionists, although it's not limited to Zionists, of course. But they do actually have to have rules in place to stop this from happening again. Because this isn't democracy. This isn't party members deciding policy. This is Zionists stopping discussion of policy. And that needs to stop. That needs to be stopped. Yeah, so like, back up your words with your actions. If you actually do support the Palestinian people, you need to actually be concretely anti-Zionist, not mealy-mouthed about it. There you go. Pseudonymous Whistler on Discord. Is it? Oh, okay. Well, look, I don't know what they're fucking shouting about, but like... I don't know what this person was shouting about, but like, if you have problems with the wording of the motion, fine. Have the discussion and point those things out. But they didn't. The Zionists deliberately went in there to purposefully make sure that no discussion took place. They deliberately timed it out so that no discussion could take place, because I think they knew they would lose the vote. If you have actual problems with it, do a democracy. Sort that shit out. But they didn't. Anyway, so those are my thoughts. Green Party, stop it with the amateurish tech bullshit. And stop allowing Zionists / other bad faith actors to abuse the system. If you're going to have party democracy and member-led policy, you need to actually allow that on every issue, not just on issues except Zionism. Just saying. Anyway, don't worry about it, Kev. That person was angry before the coverage on TL. The person got more and more angry. Why get angry? I don't know. Was the person a Zionist or not? I couldn't really tell. I was difficult trying to read and talk at the same time. Anyway, regardless. Right. So, on a kind of another point of leftism type stuff. There was this march yesterday in London, right? Now, it was an absolutely massive event. Hundreds of thousands of people turned up in London to oppose the far right. It was a multicultural thing. And it was, like I say, it was opposing like the kind of fascism, the rise of fascism in the UK. Now that's nice. Don't get me wrong. I don't want anything I'm about to say to be viewed as shitting on the individuals involved in terms of the people that turned up, because 99.999999999% of the people that went on this march based as fuck and were there for the right reasons, and I love them genuinely. And if there is one very, very positive thing to come out of this, it's that it was a show of strength. That, I think, is worthwhile. You show fascists that it's not their street. These are not their streets. These streets belong to all of us. So that's good. That's positive. But the fact that I've led with the nice positive bits there may lead you to the obvious conclusion that I'm about to maybe piss on some cornflakes. And I hope people anyone involved in this doesn't take it personally, because I don't mean it personally. I'm sure people were in it for the right reasons. Again, outside of a few bad actors, I think. Firstly, it seemed a little aimless. Like, this wasn't confronting the far right, because there wasn't a far right march going on. There was no significant far right activity taking place in London on that day. So it just seemed like you're kind of like, this is the kind of overarching point I want to make. It seems like you're marching people to the top of the hill and then down again. without really achieving that much. Like, the amount of energy and time and money, frankly, because if you're travelling from various parts of the country to London, you need to make sure you're using those resources as efficiently as you can. And I don't think this is that. You have a certain amount of that capital, both literally in terms of the finances, but although it's not capital to be reinvested, money. You have a certain amount of money, but you also have a certain amount of energy within a movement that you need to spend wisely. And this, like I say, doesn't seem to have been that, unfortunately. For a couple of main issues. Firstly, the slogans involved in all of this. There was a lot of like love beats hate type rhetoric, right? Can I find the exact quote? What was the slogan of the thing? It was I can't remember. Anyway, it's something like love beats hate and we're all together and all this sort of stuff, right? And that's nice. There's nothing wrong with that. Love is better than hate. We should be united. That's all beautiful in its own way. But it's pretty fucking lib shit stuff. Like, you don't beat the far right by just saying, we should all love each other. They tried that in America. It didn't fucking work, did it? When they go low, we go high. It doesn't fucking work. It's weak sauce. It's really fucking weak. It's not in of itself incorrect, devoid of any context. Love is better than hate. Unity is better than disunity. Multiculturalism is better than monoculturalism. But it doesn't do anything. It doesn't achieve anything to just say, love, love's good. Unity, yay. It's liberalism. It's the liberal approach to defeating fascism, which is nothing. It doesn't achieve anything. It won't win. It can't win. We know it can't. So why are they doing that? I'm not sure. And this is sort of the point here. And actually, Miss Hire, you raised the very point I'm going to sort of go with here. It's not just a matter of saying love is cool and nice and awesome. It's about not just who you vote for, but the kinds of people you ally yourself with, right? Because there were people on this march who are Labour voters, and I'm not attacking them, okay? Traditional Labour voters are the progressive people of the country, or the bulk of the progressive people of the country. So I'm not attacking individual people, or indeed Labour voters as a collective. But there were Labour politicians, specifically. Now, the better of the Labour politicians, to be sure, right? The kind of quote-unquote left, whatever left is even left in the party anymore, those MPs turned up. So there were people like, I think Diane Abbott was there, and Clive Lewis, and various other people. And I don't hate those people particularly. I think they're the best of a very poor bunch, but still. They're Labour politicians. They're Labour Party members of Parliament. They got through the selection process that we know was run by Yum Yum, fucking Mandelston, fucking Pedoson, right? Has survived the gauntlet of the McSweeney fucking the McSweeney Inquisition, and everyone expects the Sweeney Inquisition. And then survived all of the kind of purges under Keir Starmer for voting in any other way than for every fucking policy he ever puts forward. And so if you're still in that Labour Party now, think of the things you've had to either vote for or abstain on. keeping 2-child benefit cap. Weak source watering down of legislation meant for workers' rights. You've had to tacitly endorse genocide. You just have, I'm sorry, even if you're out here saying it's bad, you're a part of the party who is the government that is flying spy flights for the Israelis so that they can more efficiently genocide Palestinians. You're still in that fucking party. You are in the same party as the Home Secretary, who is currently taking away people's right to remain in the country. His imposing BNP, British National Party, fascist policy. Paid repatriation is a BNP policy from 20 fucking years ago. And the Labour Home Secretary is now implementing that. And we fucking Dawn Butler, Clive Lewis, Diane Abbott, John McDonnell, all of them are in the same fucking party as her. They may not vote for that, but they're not going to fucking remove her for it, are they? So effectively, they are allowing this to happen. They could have removed Keir Starmer, they're not doing so. They could remove Shabana Mahmood, they're not fucking doing so. They could remove David Lammy, they're not fucking doing so. So if you're not removing them, you're actively supporting them. You are actively supporting the continuance of far-right rhetoric and far-right policy when it comes to immigration. So, in what way was this march against the far right? Again, not to attack the people on the march who had absolutely the right intentions. But if you're allying yourselves with Labour politicians who just want to fucking whitewash their past in order to seem progressive for an election that's going to be very fucking difficult in 2.5 years' time, or before, if there's a snap election because Keir Starmer can't survive or something, I don't know. Why allow them to do that? Why allow them to wash clean, to acid wash the shame that they have brought upon themselves and the nation by allowing this to happen? This is not at all against the far right then, because you have allowed elements of the far right into it. The people who organise this, I can understand why they would want to have those people there, but I think you have to say to those people, unless you actively come out against what your party is now doing as a fucking far-right immigration government, you're not fucking welcome here because you're part of the problem. You're not against the far right, you are active enablers of the far right. You are currently a part of the same party that is doing things to the right of the UKIP/Reform Party immigration policy. As well, of course, as being transphobic as fuck. One of the biggest rollbacks in LGBT rights we've seen in decades. So in what way is the Labour Party not far right? It certainly seems very fucking far right to me. So that's the sort of problems I have with this particular march. It seems like some pointless, time-wasting shit, in all honesty. And again, I don't wish that to be in any way critical of the people on the march. Many of whom I know. Many of whom are some of the most based people, far more based even than I. Well-intentioned, good, beautiful, righteous people. I'm talking about the organisers of this and the fucking weird powers that be that seem to be behind it. Who are difficult to fathom. It reminds me a little bit of... Do you remember the march against... What was it called? Was it the March Against Hate or whatever it was called in America? Or the March for Love or something. Do you remember Jon Stewart and Stephen Colbert did it? What was it called? That was it. The Rally to Restore Sanity. Sorry. Yeah. There we go. Was that really 16 years ago? Nah. Fuck off. Was that 16 years ago? Well, 15 and a half years ago. I'm fucking old, man. I am getting time mugged. I'm getting chronology mugged. I'm age maxing. Fucking hell. Anyway, they had this thing called the Rally to Restore Sanity, and it was just some liberal bullshit. It was just some liberal bullshit that was like, oh, we need to restore sanity, and like American values, and blah 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 blah. And nothing changed, and a couple of years later, Trump got in. Well, 6 years later, whatever. Because that's what liberals do. They're fucking mealy-mouthed in the face of the rise of fascism, and then they very, very quiet once fascism gets into fucking power. And this sort of reminds me of that, to be honest. It sort of reminds me of that. No Kings was in the US was on the same day as the London protest. Was it? I don't know. Anyway, so that was sort of my take on it for what it's worth, which probably isn't a great deal. But there we go. Anyway, the delightful cheeky chappy you see on your screen there is a man called Anti-Colonial. Don't know if that's his birth name. And this is from a few days ago, but I'm led to believe this is very good. Anyway, he was taking on a guy called Matt Badloss, otherwise known as Matt GPT, birth name Matthew Goodwin, who you may remember is a fucking loser. Loser! 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 He lost to Hannah Spencer in Manchester, Gordon and Denton. Anyway, he's written a book called Suicide of a Nation. It's far-right bilge. And it uses AI. He literally couldn't even be bothered to write his far-right nonsense. Anti-Colonial exposed him. And then, beautifully, Matt Goodwin decided he wanted to debate Anti-Colonial. Again, bear that in mind. Bear that in mind. Matt Goodwin, the glutton for punishment, decided he wanted to debate the guy who had absolutely rinsed him. He just loves taking L's. Honestly. More L's than a fucking Welsh place name, I'm telling you. Beautiful. Two Kevs on the screen. Fucking do one. Actually do one, son. Thank you, Mini Pidge. Much love, Pidge. For 10 months. And thank you to Fogel, who says, AI is a drunken parrot. Is this the opposite of art and creation? I hate AI for what it's worth, yeah. I don't know about the analogy, but yeah, you're correct. AI is wank. And thank you, the Sick Guy, for 5 years or even 5 months of membership on the Yam Tubes. Conservatives used to be creative, did they? What did they used to create? Oh no! Oh no! What is this? Oh, we're going back to Barack Hussein Obama.
I need your money to kill babies by abortion. You, taxpayer, give me your money to pay for baby killing. No!
Based. We should vote for Obama.
Oh, I don't believe in abortion.
I don't care. Render to Caesar what is Caesar's.
Okay, are you religious or are you not religious? Because you literally just quoted Jesus. And not like he wasn't being sarcastic. He wasn't going, you know, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, wink wink. He was being very literal. That you render unto God what is God's, and then you pay your fucking taxes. Now, that is that is literally the point of it, right? But, and I get that, like, I don't think he was actually God. I think he was a preacher. I think he was a religious leader at that time. A cult leader, if you will. Who was basically saying, pay your taxes, because he was clever enough to know, if you say don't pay your taxes, the Romans are definitely actually going to murder you straight away. Right? Now, to be fair, they did kill him later, but that was a different thing. But he knew as a politician, you have to say pay your taxes, otherwise the government will fucking kill you. So that's realpolitik. Whether he thinks the Romans were good or not, that's what he's doing there. But either way, you as the Christian here are saying render unto Caesar what is Caesar's as a joke, because you're playing the bad person. So you are suggesting the baby murdering thief monster that you have created here is the same as Jesus of Nazareth, the person you believe to be the Son of God, but also maybe a third of God, depending on if you're a Trinitarian or not. I don't know about you, I don't think I've ever been as blasphemous as to suggest that God is, or that Jesus was like that. Like, I've said some shit like, he was a racist prick. True. He was a liar. True. I don't think he was a baby murderer. I like your Jesus more than you seem to like your Jesus. I'm just saying, bruh.
Give me money to kill babies!
All right.
Also, why can't straight people just do kink normally? Why have you got to make it everyone else's shit? Just doing your weird roleplay S&M thing in fucking public. Just take drugs and fuck weird like normal people. But do it in private. Why are you making this everyone else's fucking issue?
All right, I'll pay you. Don't hit me anymore. Please, please, kill my baby. Kill my baby.
You!
I've not seen... Oh. Sorry. I've seen this clip before. I've never seen that bit before. I've never seen that bit before. Hang on. Oh, this is art. This is art, everybody. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
I'll pay you. Don't hit me anymore. Please, please, kill my baby. Kill my baby.
You! Kill that woman!
Why does that say I need a boob? I need a boob job. You've covered the word job with your fucking hand. So it says, kill my baby, I need a boob. Kill my baby, I need a boob. That's... Also, what's wrong with getting a boob job? If that's what you're into, you want to do that? Okay, cool. Yeah, gender affirming surgery. True. Kill my baby. That might need to go on the soundboard. I don't know when I'll ever use it. But you know.
Epic dub.
Kill that woman's baby!
Did that man just Nazi salute as a doctor? Did he... Why have I never seen this bit of the fucking thing before? What? I don't know what's happening, Phil. I have no fucking idea, mate. This is just... We're having that again.
Kill that woman's baby!
Doing a full Elon. A full Elon. Oh, that's the money shot. Look at that. What the fuck was that? We're watching it all the way through, right? From start to finish now, unbroken, just to get the full, like we've broken it down. You're now going to get the full art as it was intended by the genius creators. Okay.
I need your money to kill babies by abortion. You, taxpayer, give me your money to pay for baby killing.
No, I don't believe in abortion.
I don't care. Render to Caesar what is Caesar's. Give me money to kill babies.
All right, I'll pay you.
Give
Don't
me
hit
the
me
money.
anymore. Please, kill my baby. Kill my baby.
You, kill that woman's baby. Yes.
Oh, I'm gonna fucking burst, man. Oh, it's too much. Is that Joe Rogan? Is that? I don't think so. Oh, fuck me. Oh, yeah. Conservatives used to be really good at art. Fucking hell. Now, will that be more or less embarrassing than Matt Badloss? I don't know.
Now, we've got a little bit different show tonight because it's been the talk of the town in Westminster this week. GB News presenter, academic and former Reform UK parliamentary candidate Matt Goodwin has published his latest book. It's fair to say it's kicked up something of a storm. In the book titled Suicide of a Nation, Goodwin explains why he believes mass immigration and multiculturalism have driven Britain into a spiral of decline.
By the way, just in case anyone was wondering, you know that family voting thing that he and Reform were like, oh, we only lost because the Muslimics were doing family voting. Total bollocks. Total rubbish. Literally, even the Manchester police came out and said that we literally couldn't find any evidence of this. They looked into all of the claims, interviewed loads of people. Total rubbish. Who'da thunk it? The right wing making up lies.
The book has reached number 6 on Amazon's bestsellers list. But critics claim that Goodwin has relied too much on artificial intelligence to write the book, that it contains errors and some of the numbers just don't.
Well, he had to rely on artificial intelligence because he doesn't have much real intelligence, you know?
Add up. Well, the controversy has sparked furious arguments online and coverage in major news outlets such as The Times, The New Statesman, The Spectator, The Critic and Unheard. And this morning, Matt Goodwin published a response to his critics in the Daily Mail. Now, one of the first people to publicly critique the book was the writer and commentator and regular GB News contributor Anti-Twelves. Now, Andy's thread on X, formerly Twitter, and later a piece in The Spectator, has gathered over 1.3 million views.
Oh my god. Goodwin is such a shithouse. They got Andy-Twelves to write in The Spectator. Okay, so they got a kind of leftist journalist was hired by like a far-right rag to write about how Matt Goodwin is a shithouse. That's how hated he is. He's so despised. He's so fucking despised that he's lost The Spectator. As a far-rightoid, he's so embarrassing that he's lost The Spectator. I don't even know what would the equivalent in America be like. It'd be like Donald Trump losing Fox News or fucking or even like One America News or fucking what was the other one? One of those fucking places. You know, the weird like eaglefreedom.blogspot, those kind of people. Newsmax. There we go.
So what's the truth? Does Matt Goodwin's book stand up to scrutiny? Are his critics motivated by political differences rather than a desire for truth? Well, tonight we can exclusively bring you the live debate that every...
Well, as Matt Goodwin is a bullshitting fucker, my opposition to him isn't just that we have different politics. It's that different politics is a search for the truth. They look indecipherable. Also, look at the delicious stank eye. Honestly, I'll be honest with you, Anti-12s can get it. Now, I know that's sort of like me saying I can get it, because we're basically the same fucking person, right? But he's a good-looking chap, and I'd fuck him. I'm just going to put it out there now. I don't know if he's into that. I have no idea, but...
Everyone's been waiting for a head-to-head between Matt Goodwin and Anti-12s, only on GB News, the home of free speech. Matt, Andy, thank you so much.
The home of free speech? What the fuck are you talking about?
For joining me tonight. Thanks for being willing to have this debate. Now, you're both going to have the chance to set out your arguments in a minute, but since this is a slightly different show from a normal Friday night on Jubes & Co, I will just set out the terms of the debate. So both of you will have 2 minutes of uninterrupted time to set out your stall. Then I'm going to ask Andy to offer the first of his challenges. Matt, you'll have a chance to respond. After the break, we'll continue that debate with Andy offering challenges, Matt responding, and you'll both have 1 minute each to sum up your...
What is it, Clem H. Fandango? In Matt Goodwin's book, he says Britain is currently about 6% Muslim and will be 25... It's not 6% Muslim, is it? I don't think so. And will be 25% Muslim by 2100. Isn't that kind of low from the perspective of racist fear-mongering? Like, I would guess most of his fans would probably think Britain is already 25% Muslim. I'm guessing most of Matt Goodwin's fans would think it was more than 25% now. Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. Is it a bit low? I mean, I guess so, but like, they think any Muslims being in the country is bad. So, you know.
Your arguments before we continue with the rest of the show. So thank you both. So, Matt, you're going to go first. We've got 2 minutes to set out your story about your book. Off we go.
Yeah, well, before we get into the debate, let me tell people why I wrote this book, Suicide.
Because you're a grifting piece of shit who realises that they're hold below the waterline in terms of their public popularity. You lost an election, and you fear your public intellectual role is being whittled away. So you're trying to grasp the last fumes of fame and make money out of it, because money is all that matters to you, you fascist shithouse. Was I right?
Side of a nation, because I believe nobody is telling the British and the English people the truth about what is happening in our country and what is about to happen. What I draw on in this book is an enormous amount of data to show that by the end of this century, the share of our population that will be white British will collapse from over 70% to 33%.
Based. Let's breed the bastards out. Yeah. That's a joke. I'm joking, white people.
The share of people who are foreign-born, or the immediate children of the foreign-born, will rise from 19%.
That's a bit slimy. The children of the foreign-born, so people who are born here, then. Like, where the fuck do you think you come from, Matt? Well, you think you can trace your lineage back to the ancient Brittonic tribes? No, you fucking can't. I'm guessing your grandparents or great-grandparents came here from somewhere. And that's fine. Other than the fact that they raised you, I suppose. But, you know, there were several births in between then, so you can't really blame those individuals. The point being, every cunt is from somewhere else. We are not a nation of, what's the word they call it? Native peoples. The native isn't a thing here. Soyicide of a nation. I want to write that book now. So, no one would get the joke, but it would be funny. Anyway, yeah, everyone's from somewhere else. So you slimy trying to be like the foreign-born, or children of foreign-born. So not foreigners then. Like just British people who had parents from somewhere else. Like previous generation upon generation upon generation who also experienced that. You fucking gobshite. You absolute Burke.
To over 60%, and the share of people who are following Islam will rise from 1 in every 17 people today to 1 in every 4. Now, I wrote...
Don't care. Why is that suicidal? Why is it suicidal to have Muslims in the country?
wrote this book over the period of 4 months, away from my friends and family, because I think the British...
Wow, you wrote it over 4 months. You should probably have been campaigning in Manchester instead, I reckon. You might not have lost so badly. Because it does appear that if they'd chosen, like, someone from Manchester, that they might have at least had a better chance of winning. Like, a significantly better chance. Turns out he, as a fucking carpetbagger from... Where the fuck was he from? Buckinghamshire or wherever the fuck it was. Like, people didn't want that shit. People don't like voting for weird, posho, southern fucking carpetbaggers. Yeah. St Albans. He's from St Albans. Fucking Hertfordshire. Get fucked. Get fucked, mate.
People deserve to know the truth. And I deliberately did not publish the book with a mainstream publisher, because publishing, in case people out there haven't noticed, has been completely captured by woke activists and sensitivity readers who would never...
Oh, no one wanted to publish your shit book. Boo-hoo. It's the woke... No, you're shit. No one likes you. No one wanted to buy your fucking book. Like, you couldn't get a proper publisher, so you had to go to far-right fucking Publishing Inc. Shut the fuck up, man. This is such cope. This is the copiest shit ever.
You are coping and seething.
Ever have allowed me to publish a book like Suicide of a Nation. I'm very proud of this book. I stand by this.
See, he's such a whingy, fucking whiny bastard. They would never let me publish, blah, blah. No. You don't have a pre-existing deal with them, and then they're denying you. They're saying, I don't want to publish this book. So unless you are claiming that publishers should just publish any old shit, otherwise they're being silenced, then you're not being silenced. They just don't want to pay you lots of money to publish your book because it's shit and no one would buy it. Like, plenty of far-right nonsense gets published all the fucking time. Plenty of absolute guff gets published all the time. They will publish you if they can make money out of it. They don't give a fuck about your politics. If you produced Mein Kampf today, some cunt would take it, assuming that that person was well enough known to get that, to get sales up. They had a significant following on TikTok or something, so they could advertise it and make sales. They'd publish anything. They're capitalists, you fucking idiot. Like, for me, Matt Goodwin is everything the right wing pretend about the left wing. Right, so the right have this idea that the left is like nanny-ish and like pointing at people and being like, you're not good enough, and moany and whingy and whiny and fucking, just hectoring people constantly about everything. And he is that, but just from a far-right perspective rather than a leftist perspective. He really is, like, just a thoroughly unlikable bloke. I don't know that there are many high-profile rightoids in the country who are worse. But Robert Jenrick might be worse, I guess, because he has political power. Because, he's actually in Parliament, Matt. But, Will they publish my book about lesbian gerbils? Well, if not, you're being silenced. You heard it here first.
This book, I stand by all of the numbers in this book, and I hope that as many people as possible engage with it, because I think it's the only book that is telling people...
Douglas Murray is fucking worse, yes, undeniably, but is he that mainstream anymore? Is he that well known anymore? I don't know. Douglas Murray is worse, though, yeah. He's a really nasty, insidious little fuck.
People the truth about how and why we are losing our country.
Matt,
hang on, when you say we are losing our country, so you're deliberately saying, therefore, that Muslims are not a part of our country, then? If you say Muslims becoming a larger percentage of our population means we are losing our country, you are clearly saying Muslims are not British. You're just a fascist. You're just a fascist piece of shit. I'm glad no one took your fucking book, you mug.
Very much. Andy, your turn to set out your stall.
So I think if publishing is completely captured by the woke left, it would seem that fact checkers and copy editors are also. There are not just factual errors in this book, but just basic spelling and grammar ones. And it's not even misattributed quotes of Cicero, of Livy, of Hayek, of Scruton, of whomever. There are just basic untruths that Matt knows. It said in 2019 that Boris Johnson was in opposition. You were a pundit in 2019, Matt. You knew Boris Johnson was not in opposition. You go to quote him in...
See, this is why you shouldn't write it. You shouldn't write it with ChatGPT. It said that Boris Johnson was in opposition in 2019. What the fuck is this? Not just that, but like, there's a reason that people want to publish with big publishers. It's because they have like copy proofreading and stuff. You know, they would have caught things like that.
In that same phrase, and the quote from it is from the 2019 general election manifesto of the Conservatives. Tell me, who was the leader of the Conservatives and the sitting Prime Minister at that time? You look at demographic claims. You know, readers are told with great confidence in your book that the census points to white British people becoming a minority by 2100. It doesn't. That projection does not exist in official data. It's made up. It is. Likewise, a parade of scholars, Anthony D. Smith, Walker Connor, invoked as if they endorse a rigid, ethnically fixed idea of nationhood. They didn't. In fact, Smith explicitly warned against it. I have a friend whose 3-month-old baby now weighs twice as much as it did when it was born. If you were to look at that weight growth, you'd say that it would be 3.4 trillion kilograms by age 10. You don't recognise exponential growth. And it's not even occasional sloppiness, it's fundamental to the book. The quotes, Hayek, Scruton, Livy, Cicero don't exist. Claims about immigration levels, welfare use, language decline, even baby names are just false. If you're going to open your book up with a quote about Arnold Toynbee and the suicide of nations, you might want to make sure your own argument isn't built on intellectual self-harm. This isn't political, it's just about truth.
Thank you, Andy.
Based and true. Also, yeah, I did see this tweet. So Matt Goodwin says, "Thanks, lefties. We're number 4 on Amazon, and the Founders Edition just sold out. They keep driving algorithms. Cheers." Why do you have all of these copies of your own book, Matt? Considering how fast it slipped down the charts, it would appear that somebody bought lots and lots of copies to bump it up at the start, and then no one bought it after that. Almost as if, Matt, you bought lots of copies of your own book to try and give it a boost and claim victory, but no one actually bought it. You could say that you were bouncing back Alan Partridge. I presume you're now going to pulp these books as well. Although, given that you're a Nazi, maybe putting them in an oven would be more appropriate. I don't know.
And Matt, you will absolutely get a chance to respond to all those criticisms. So let's start with the debate. Andy, what I'd like you to do is to put your major criticisms into a kind of a group, if you like. So if you could start off, what's one of your big critiques of the book? And then Matt will have free chance to defend himself.
So the big one, the quite clear one that doesn't get into statistical grey areas of misinterpretation is just quotes. There are lots of quotes from people that Matt says they said, which they just didn't said. They didn't say. You know, he accused me in the Daily Mail of focusing on Latin interpretations and Cicero. So let's get away from the late Roman Republic. Let's look at Sir Roger Scruton, who you said was one of your biggest influences in the New Culture Forum you did on this book tour. You said that Scruton warned, "A society that cannot distinguish its friends from its enemies, or that extends hospitality to those who despise its way of life, is a society that has lost the instinct for survival." Scruton never said that. In the Daily Mail article you wrote, you said it was probably from the Heritage Foundation. I can't remember, was it in the Daily Mail at the Times?
Of course he thought it was from the Heritage Foundation. What a bitch. What a little bitch.
He said it was probably from his Heritage Foundation lecture. I read the transcript of that lecture right after he said that. He did not say it there. That is one contemporary scholar who has written hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of things and probably said things like that. but you didn't quote him correctly. It's the same for Anthony Smith. It's the same for Friedrich Hayek. It's the same for James Burnham. It's the same for Walker Connor. There are just basic quotes that were never said by these people. And I just don't think it's right to support your argument with false quotes.
OK, Matt, what do you say to that?
Well, I think obviously a lot of people out there can see what's going on here, and I would dispute 99% of what Andy has just said. Let's just be clear. Artificial...
Hang on, are you saying that they did say these things? Because you should be able to provide a source for that then, shouldn't you? I'm going to guess, I haven't read this, but I am going to guess that this is not very well footnoted, shall we say.
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
Artificial intelligence is a research tool that every journalist, every academic, every data analyst now uses. Now, Andy...
Yeah, and that's bad. That's a bad thing.
I believe I'm right in saying...
Oh, we're all cunts. Oh, thanks. What a great defence.
You've never written a book or you've not managed a large-scale data project that's gone through peer review. Everybody today uses AI as a research tool. If you are cross-checking your figures and statistics with official data sets, then it's a completely acceptable thing to do. What you have been suggesting for much of this week is that I haven't just used AI as a research tool. To quote you, you said AI has basically written large parts of this book and much...
Which is true. Which is why everyone's been clowning on you.
A bit. So last night, I found myself in the curious position of uploading my entire manuscript to about 5 AI detection sites. Now, let's start with the best one in the world, ZeroGPT, the most advanced detector that we have. Here's what it said. We are highly confident this book is human content. 2.2% of this book is based on artificial intelligence. The average for books, by the way, is 10%. And as you will know, AI detection software overstates the level of AI. You've called me Matt GPT. I ran it through...
Why are you posting this man's dobs? So, you checked AI to prove that you didn't use AI. Honestly, this is spectacular. I love it.
Through ChatGPT. Do you want to know what ChatGPT says?
What did ChatGPT?
It said, this does not read like an AI-written book. There is no credible evidence this book was written by AI. In fact, no, let me finish because this is important. This is about integrity. In fact, the dominant signals in this book point the other way. There's pro-human authorship. There's emotionally driven language. There's escalating rhetoric. There's signature voice writing. There's long-range argument structure. There's intentional narrative control. You have deliberately misled people this week by taking some historical quotations.
Where are the quotes from?
Historical quotations which are misattributed.
Just tell me where the quote is from. Just one of them. Just one of them. Where's the Scruton quote from?
That I have written.
Notice, chat, he is not answering Andy's quite straightforward question. Where are the quotes from? Because, like, if you quote somebody, you need to footnote that so that if people wanted to, they could go and check and say, oh, this person said this in this thing, and you go and look, you go, oh, yeah, no, he did say that. So that people know that you've actually, A, put the fucking work in, and that B, that you're not misattributing quotes or taking them out of context or whatever, right? Didn't do that, did I?
This book, based highly on AI, and you are incorrect. You should apologise, Andy.
You've had a week.
You should apologise.
Gentlemen, I am jumping in.
Rabble, 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 rabble.
Here is the chair. The specific accusation, Matt, is not that you've used AI to write the whole book.
No, that's what Andy said.
The specific accusation that Andy has made today on this show is that there are various quotes that appear in your book that don't have references and that Andy and others can't find.
Well, we all know his source.
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
In cited literature. So we're not asking, he's not accusing you of writing the whole book by AI. Might do later, but that's not the accusation now. Where did you find those specific quotes?
Let me give you an example, and then I'll come back to the Scruton and the Walker Connor examples. One of the things I wrote in the book was this. The state should begin with the people closest to us, which was Cicero. Do you know what he actually said, according to a Cicero scholar in the Times this week? The supreme duty of the state is to protect its own citizens.
Okay, but that's not the same fucking thing, is it? Where did you get the initial quote from? Like, yeah, he might have said similar things to that. He also probably said, oh, this shit's a bit of a bastard. Oh, feels like I'm passing a baby. Fucking hell. It's the last time I eat a fucking hamburger. Actually, he probably didn't say hamburger because that wasn't a thing yet. But you get the idea. He probably said lots of shit. He probably wrote lots of shit. You can't paraphrase people. You have to quote them. That wasn't a quote. And it means a different thing. He said the supreme thing is to look after your citizens, not the people closest to you, which is some weird, vague, like, fucking bullshit, which is like, that's like some ethno-nationalist wank. Especially given that he was writing pre-nation state. So when he says his own citizens, your own citizens, he means, like, essentially the city you live in. He's not even talking about something as big as Britain. He wasn't even talking about all Greek people. Or, should we say, all Greeks. Oh no, Cicero was, not Greek, Roman, sorry. So it would have been Romans, right? He wasn't even talking about necessarily the entire Roman Empire as such. But Matt doesn't care about that. He's got a quote that sounds kind of like the quote. So that's fine. Like, you aren't answering the question, Matt, fundamentally. Where did you get the first quote from? Because if you didn't make it up from ChatGPT, where did you see it? You must have seen it somewhere. You must have seen it. You must have read it somewhere, or quoting it, someone else quoting the person in a different book or something. So, like, where did you see him say those specific series of words? If you didn't get it from ChatGPT, turn it to fucking Arkwright then.
So if there are misattributed quotes such as that, they will be corrected within 48 hours. But what Andy and the critics of this book are doing, let's just be clear, Miriam, because it's important. They are focusing on minor typos, like Boris Johnson being in opposition.
Not a minor typo,
That's not minor typo! That's a basic political fact! If your argument is based around him being in opposition, in the same year that he became Prime Minister and won a general election, and therefore remained Prime Minister, in that year, that's not a typo. A typo is, I don't know, mixing up there, and there. Not putting a correct piece of, like, a punctuation in there. Not who was the fucking Prime Minister. Like, if he was in opposition, who the fuck was Prime Minister then? Was Jeremy Corbyn Prime Minister? Because he didn't open up any camps. So I don't think he was Prime Minister. Hitler jokes.
Fundamental
It's
fact.
a minor typo. It's a minor typo because they don't want to...
No, a typo is not getting entire sentences wrong. A typo is one, maybe two letters in a word wrong. Or a missed piece of punctuation. It's not a typo. What the fuck? You're supposed to be a political fucking pundit.
To engage with the argument of this book.
Well, we'll be getting into English as an additional language after this, Matthew.
The argument of this book, let's be clear, is one that you completely disagree with. I would like to ask you a question. What part of the argument of suicide of a nation do you actually disagree with?
Well, I think the whole thing is just based on falsehoods, which we're getting into in the second segment.
Now there we go.
We're getting into the second segment.
Now there we go.
Come on, we've got the rules of the debate. Matthew, we've got the rules of the debate. I know you like using AI. You've used AI to try and prove that you didn't use AI.
What do you think about the 2.2%? What do you think about the 2.2%?
Where did Anthony Smith? Where did that quote from Anthony Smith? James Burnham, Friedrich Hayek. You were so arrogant to say that one of them put it bluntly when he'd never said it.
Do you know, how many books by Anthony Smith have you read?
Well, more than you, seemingly, because you misquoted him in public.
Absolutely not.
Okay, Matt. Where did you get it from? If you've read so many of this man's books, and I'll be honest, I've read zero of his fucking books. At all. Where did you see it? You've read all these fucking books. Which one of them did this quote come from? Pretty straightforward. So that if someone wanted to, they could check and say, oh, yeah, no, he did say that. Okay, fair enough. Or get the fuller context of the man's arguments if you wanted to further read. But, like, when you're asked a specific question, where did that quote come from? You go, well, how many of his books have you read? You look like a cunt, mate. You look like a proper twat. Like a super duck minge. And ducks don't even have minges, they have cloacas because they're birds. You've embarrassed yourself twice there. You're a biological embarrassment.
You spoke about peer review. Did this book get peer reviewed? Was it reviewed by anyone at all?
If you really want to know, all of the demographic projections in this book
Matt, look, this is worse than Keir Starmer not answering the question. Because he was like, where'd you get the quote from? Well, if you want to talk about the percentages of Muslimics... No, I don't really want to talk about the percentages of anything. I want you to tell me where the fucking quote came from. It was reviewed by ChatGPT. Yeah, Grok said it was fine. So... Ducks also have a decoy hang on. Whoa, time out. What the fuck are you talking about, Phantom? No, not Phantom. Papa. Ducks have a decoy minge. What are you talking about? Is this a biological fact? Or are you making shit up? Have you invented a duck vagina? It's true. Source me. Duck authority. True. Ducks do have decoy... Really? Oh, God. Decoy puss... Hang on, I can't type pussy in, can I? Just in case. You never know what Google's going to spit out. Female mallard ducks have evolved complex spiral-shaped vaginas with dead-end sacs to counter forced copulation by males. A phenomenon sometimes referred to as a decoy vagina mechanism. This anatomy... So it's not an actual decoy vagina as such. It's not like a different hole on the outside. The anatomy works in opposition to the male's corkscrew-shaped phallus, allowing females to restrict fertilisation by unwanted males. Well done, ducks.
Matthew. We're talking about the quotes that you made up.
Miriam, can I answer it?
You made up the quotes, Matthew. Where are the quotes from?
You asked me, has this book been peer reviewed by experts?
Sure.
Every single demographic projection in this book was reviewed by some of the world's leading demographers.
Who? Name them. Name them, Matthew. Or do you need to get on ChatGPT to find the world's leading demographers?
That's brutal. That's brutal. Who are they? They go to a different school. You wouldn't even know. They're from Canada. You wouldn't even know them. Okay, they're so above you. You wouldn't even. Dave. Yep, Dave Smith. Dave Smith, the professor. Dr. Dave Smith. Yep. Like, that's so bad. Do you have to get on ChatGPT to find out? Oh, that's fucking delicious. Oh, it's Moorish. Let's go.
Where are the quotes from?
Andy, you've never done a peer-reviewed academic article. Peer review is anonymous.
He's not answering the question. Where are the quotes from? Where are...
Hang on, if peer review is anonymous, how do you know that these people are leading experts? If peer review is anonymous, how do you know who these people are then? How do you know they're not, like, bang average? Why are they the leading experts in anything if you don't know who they are? It's almost like you're making shit up, Matt. And by the way, it's so obvious he didn't spend 4 months writing this. He has cobbled this shite together. And I know that peer review isn't anonymous. I'm just saying, you know, he's just throwing shit out there. He's obviously cobbled this together in the last few weeks since losing the election. Again, because he's trying to get the last fumes of fame, you know, to use them to make more money. He's trying to grift. Unbelievable. unfucking believable.
Matthew, would you be willing, Matt, to obviously you can't do this right now, but to provide evidence in public for those particular quotes?
What I've said...
No. I don't know who this person is, the host, right? But that's not the job of him to do weeks after publishing. No. You have to provide the footnotes for that in the book itself. You can't just you can't write it and then go, I'll tell you the evidence for it later. No. You're supposed to have fucking footnotes. So you can check at the back of the book and it goes, oh, you need to go to this place or this book, this page, and then you can go independently and check his source. You can't do that weeks afterwards. That's not evidence of anything at that point. He's already printed the fucking books. Himself, presumably, because no fucking publisher wanted anything to do with him.
To be clear...
Would you be willing to provide that evidence?
No, I'm just going to... No. Hold on. There we go. Can we allow one another to speak?
As the chair, I'm asking a question.
No, he's not even prepared. He's not even prepared to do it weeks after publishing. Genius.
What I'm going to do, and I've just said this already, is if there are historical quotations that are imperfect, they will be...
No, made up. Made up. You made them up, Matt. You made them up. Oh, pussycats. See, I love videos like this, but you know that this person's going to get eaten by a leopard. Like, I'm glad people like this exist to, like, look after animals and shit. But, motherfucker, you're going to get eaten by a leopard or a tiger or some shit. Because they ain't all going to be that fucking chill. Look at the teeth on it. Look at that. That'd fucking eat you. That would tear you apart like a tender chicken loin. The fuck? Chicken loin, is that a thing? I don't know.
They will be corrected within 48 hours.
Why weren't they corrected before it went to publish?
Yeah, why didn't you check it? Why didn't you check anything? Tenderloin is pork. That's what I was thinking. I couldn't. I just wanted to make it sound nice. I don't fucking know. I try not to think of what food is. I just eat it.
Before you ask hard-working people to pay their money in a cost-of-living crisis for this slop,
Andy,
why didn't you check it before you published it?
Andy,
why didn't you check it before you published it?
You come in here and you make a number of sweeping assertions about my work. You know this is based on a research report that is publicly available. That research report...
This is your 54-page Matthew Goodwin demographic report.
Nobody has questioned the...
So he did his own report and then quotes his own report. Oh, that's bad. That's so shit. Yeah, you want people to pay for this slop. Well, it is slop, clearly. He's banged this together over the course of the last few weeks, desperately trying to cling on to relevance. Fucking tragic.
The numbers in this because they know, based on the census and the same projections that are used by the Office for National Statistics...
That's fantastic, but we're talking about the quotes,
and reliable. You want to
talking about the quotes, comrades,
You
please.
want to fixate...
You can't even find things to support your argument, so you've got to make up quotes.
Mary,
come on.
Matt, I think that the
Where are any of these quotes
is
from?
that
Where are any of them
you
from?
started your opening statement with the fact that you've written this book because nobody is telling the truth. Do you not therefore think it's important that things like quotes from famous figures of history are truthful?
Even the GB News host is like, you said you at the start you wanted to tell the truth, but it's obvious you're a lying shithouse. Oh, mate. You are absolutely getting fucking roasted. Even this dumb cunt who hosts the fucking show on GB News is like, you're a liar. You've made this up. This is bollocks. This is your co-worker. This is your fucking colleague who's just absolutely fucked you over. She has gone full Brutus on you and just fucking murdered your career. Savage.
There are historical quotations in here that are imperfect. There's a couple. They will be corrected.
Why weren't they corrected?
Why weren't they corrected? The whole point of checking and rechecking and getting someone else to check and and when I say someone else, I don't mean ChatGPT or Grok or whatever. I mean a human being to go through the thing and check, and because you might not spot it, right? You need another set of eyes to look through your manuscript, to give you like pointers on style or your argumentation or maybe a better way of ordering the chapters or something like that, right? A different outside look, but also to check for basic things like, was Boris Johnson the Prime Minister in 2019? That sort of thing, which you clearly missed because it was ChatGPT that wrote that, obviously. Because I assume Matt Goodwin does know Boris Johnson was Prime Minister in that year. I assume that's the case. Who knows?
Before it went to publish. I've answered your question.
Okay, so you commit to do that. You will publish the corrections.
But what I'm saying, this is important. What I'm saying is this debate is actually not about...
Yeah, it's early access, yeah. You're not supposed to release a book in beta and then, like, work out the bugs later. No. You release a book when it's fucking finished. This isn't acceptable. You don't get to be like, well, look, if I've bullshitted, I'll correct that bullshit after you've bought it. Well, that doesn't fucking help me now. I've spent 20 quid on a fucking pile of shite. To be fair, he is very beta, that is true.
About what Cicero said 2,000 years ago.
Whoa, time out, Home Slice. You don't get to be like, well, Cicero said it 2,000 years ago, so who gives a fuck? That's not... You quoted the cunt. You quoted Cicero, and now you're ragging on Cicero for having not been alive later than he was. Wait, who gives a fuck? He lived ages ago, so why do I have to quote him correctly? You started this by saying, I'm the only one who's telling you the truth, and you're now like, fuck it, Cicero's a dead old cunt. His corpse is now stone. Who gives a shit? He's now a fucking fossil. So I'm just going to say he said, I like big butts and I cannot lie. Whatever. Sue me. Fuck me. Cicero real quiet since Kev started streaming. Exactly. His silence on this speaks volumes. If he had any fucking decency to him, he'd be out here defending Matt Goodwin. And he's not. The fucking mug. That's right, Cicero, I'm calling you out, mate. Debate me. I'm debate broing Cicero now. Debate me, you little prick. Honestly, if you reckon you're that fucking clever, step into the free marketplace of ideas. Let's have some. You got no fans. Your stadium shit. You've got no air in your lungs. Your lungs have decomposed thousands of years ago. You want some? I'll give it you.
It's about a guy who writes for Labour List, a guy who writes articles against reform,
also
a guy
writes for
who
The
supports
Spectator.
Labour and the Greens.
I don't support the Green Party.
Fundamentally...
Oh, you write things against reform. So, he's a journalist. He's allowed to do that? He also wrote for the fucking Spectator. Does that mean he's... What? The same as Boris Johnson, who used to edit the Spectator? Or Fraser Nelson, who used to edit the Spectator? Kev toga mugged Cicero. That is true. I did. Togas are fucking really like confusing and stupid as well. They're a piece of clothing that in order to stay on, you have to keep your arm crooked up like that to keep it on. Because if you go like that, it just unravels and your cock's out. Actually, they might have worn underwear. I don't know.
Another lie from Matt GPT.
Actually,
did ChatGPT tell you that?
Did you not write this out?
Did ChatGPT tell you that? This is pretty good. I'm glad we watched this. This is nice.
Polanski was a breath of fresh air.
I said that the right wing were losing their minds over him.
There we go, Andy.
I said that the right wing were losing their minds over him, and it's seemingly true. Was that a ChatGPT summary of the piece, or did you read the piece?
The argument. You disagree with the argument.
He's got these ChatGPT summaries, Miriam. It's disgraceful, truly.
So you didn't write that. Now,
I don't support the Greens, Matthew. Again, another lie.
Stop it, both of you.
Are you planning a trip this year? Well,
suck my dick, you little fash prick. That was unintentionally poetic.
In data in his book, as well as other claims about artificial intelligence. Matt's been defending the book and he's been bringing his charges. We've had some opening statements and we're well into the debate. So we're going to continue in the same theme as before. Andy's going to bring up a particular critique that he has of the book. Matt's going to defend himself and offer...
Cicero actually said something relevant to Matt GPT. No one thinks you're worth his attention, his time, a vote, a place in society, or even the light of day. Oh, brutal. Get cis-mogged. Actually, that could be different, yeah. Why did Matt even agree to this? Harry, it's worse. He didn't agree to this. He demanded this. Matt wanted this. Matt debate broed Anti-Twelves into this situation. And Andy was like, yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Let's fucking do this shit. Matt wanted this. He brought this on himself. A glutton for punishment. Taking L after L after L.
For any other criticism to Andy, which he will then defend, and we'll end this segment with the chance for you both to sum up your sides of the argument with a minute uninterrupted talk before we move on with the rest of the show. So, Andy, what's your next critique of Matt's book?
So, as Matt rightly said, I'm not an expert. I've never...
Hang on a minute, what's this? .255's best work, I think. I can prove I didn't use AI. All those fake quotes are just a product of my own human stupidity. Well, that's the thing. Either he's just really, really bad at this / a lying bastard, or he used ChatGPT that got it wrong and he's a lying bastard. Either way, he's a lying bastard. It's just, is he an incompetent lying bastard or a lazy lying bastard?
Written a peer-reviewed study. I've barely got GCSEs. So I spoke to someone who is an expert and has written a peer-reviewed study. That's Professor Steve Strand, OBE, the Professor of Education and Fellow of St Cross College at the University of Oxford. And when it comes to EAL, English as an additional language, which you speak about a lot in the book, he says that you are just totally, quote, just totally misunderstanding what this measure of EAL is. He keeps talking about English not being...
Right, but Andy, you didn't get this quote from any AI, so I'm not listening to you. I don't care. Okay? Unless your quote is from an old dead dude from AI, I don't care. Look, why should I take you seriously if you're going to actually quote people correctly? Dickhead. You can tell the difference. You can tell the difference between the noted academic and intellectual Matt Goodwin, who uses the correct form of just making shit up and just saying they said some shit and they didn't. Whereas this dickhead's gone to an actual expert in the field and got an accurate and apposite quote. Loser.
Young people's first language, but you could be recorded as EAL and still be totally fluent in English. So he's not really understanding the question that's asked that underlies that data. End quote. You represent in the book that children who, primary school children this is, who
Matt, can we just go back to Matt's face for a second there?
End quote. You represent in the book that children who...
That is the face of a man who knows he's getting, I don't know, intellectual mogged? This man is Al-maxing very, very hard right now. His cortisol levels could not be lower.
Primary school children this is, who are registered as EAL, do not speak English.
I don't say
and that is not fair. You even made up a report of a school. You said that BBC West Midlands wrote in 2019 about a school where they speak more than 30 different languages. There is no evidence of that report. There is.
By the way, right. One of the things about the Rivers of Blood speech, the famous Enoch Powell thing, wasn't just that it was racist trash, it's that he made loads of shit up, right? Including noting a school supposedly in his constituency, which was in the West Midlands, that had no white children in it. Something that was checked because they went to every school in his constituency and asked, and they said they had at least one white pupil in every single school in his constituency. So he just made that up. That was a complete lie. He made that up. And his intellectual forebear, 50 years later, is now doing the same thing in lieu of following the same fascist fucking rhetorical bullshit is now using the same tactic of just making up some shit about the demographics of schools in the West Midlands. He's Enoch Maxing.
You then make up an Ofsted inspection report, say, quote from your book, one inspection report put it bluntly, many pupils join the school with extremely limited English. This significantly slows the pace of learning, end quote. I checked the school that you were talking about that was actually in the Birmingham Live report. I read every single inspection report, full inspection report on their Ofsted site. No quote like that exists. Again, he's playing fast and loose.
So he just made some shit up from Ofsted, which is like, you can just go and check that. Ofsted reports are all public. Ofsted is the school inspectorate. So it's the government body that inspects schools to see if they're up to scratch, right? And they write reports on each school, and they get like checked once every, I don't know, 15 years or whatever, each school, right? And supposedly at random, although it doesn't quite ever work out that way, but regardless. So you just made up some shit. You literally just made up some shit. That speech was made in Birmingham, wasn't it? Was it Wolverhampton? It was certainly the West Midlands, because he was an MP in the West Midlands. Hang on. Rivers of Blood. Oh no, it was Birmingham. No, you were quite right. Yeah, the Rivers of Blood speech was made in Birmingham politician, so British politician, in Birmingham. Yeah. Yeah, he was the MP for Wolverhampton South West. Yeah, that's why I thought it was Wolverhampton. Anyway, yeah. Also, the phrase "Mother of all Parliaments" comes from a speech in Birmingham as well, by the original Austin Chamberlain. Canals of blood. Jim speak. That is a genuinely delicious piece of local nonsense mixed with the thing we're actually talking about. That is the perfect joke for this exact moment, and no other moment ever. But still, canals of blood is fucking genius. Yes. Let's go. Also, the amount of homeless people that die on the canals, there's probably quite a bit of blood as well. It's grim.
With the truth. And this is primary school kids. This isn't the establishment or the new elite. These are kids that are 4 years old to 11 years old that he's trying to bait and make look like they're the enemy.
Aim high, vote low. Oh my god, have we got a fascioid in chat? Can we sweep away this detritus, please?
Of society, and I think it's disgusting.
Okay.
How do you respond to that, Matt?
Okay, well, all of that was absolute nonsense. Here's something that...
Professor Stroud.
So he's not even going to address the quote from the fucking professor. Oh, that was bollocks. Can we just talk about the thing? Can we just do some culture war stuff instead? I'm more comfortable with that.
And talking nonsense.
Right, you've had your
Listen,
turn.
I was in universities for 20 years. I'm well aware of where the professors lie on these issues, all right? Here's something that Anti-Colonial said. I'm not going to dwell on who said what said, but I'm just going to make an important point. You said this week, actually, that you disagree with my suggestion that a majority of children do not speak English as their main language, and you talked about areas like Luton and Leicester. Nobody's actually debated me on these numbers because they know they're true. Look at primary schools. Here's the share.
Okay. I don't care. There you go. I couldn't give a fuck. So what? Like, what's your conclusion from that? Do they speak English? Cool. Because you know we had a Prime Minister whose primary language was not English. Lloyd George was a Welshman who spoke Welsh. He also spoke English though, so it was fine. Like, no one cares. It's like nobody cares. Like, I'm sorry, Matt, that you only can speak, like, bullshit. But lots of other people can speak different languages, and that's cool, actually. It's actually an important life skill, potentially.
And people out watching this show need to know this. Here are the share of children, the percentage of children who don't speak English as their main language. Blackburn, 46%. Luton, 53%. Leicester, 59%.
Okay, don't speak English as a first language. But not don't speak English. Because if it was don't speak English and these percentages applied, that would be a problem. Because that's a lot of people who don't speak English. but it's people who don't speak English as a primary language. Okay, I can give a fuck then. Okay, cool. Where was Keir Hardie from again? Keir Hardie was, well, he was a Scotsman who became an MP for East Ham in London. But I just mentioned Lloyd George because he was Prime Minister. Unfortunately, Keir Hardie did not become Prime Minister. He was not fated to rise quite that high, but also, great beard. A superb beard Keir Hardie had.
Tower Hamlets 65%, Brent 66%, Newham 72%. In places like Coventry, Derby, Glasgow, Newcastle, Nottingham, Southampton, Wolverhampton, about 1 in 3 children in England today do not speak English as their main language.
Okay, but they still speak English, so I don't fucking care. Couldn't give a shit. Yeah, unfortunately, Ramsay MacDonald did become PM, yeah. And then became a traitorous piece of shit and joined the Tories in government. Yeah. An ignominious first Labour government. Thankfully, every Labour government since then has been fucking awesome, though.
They still speak English fluently.
Miriam,
they still speak English fluently.
Why am I making...
I'm just going to cut in there because other people have actually challenged that. So John Merrick, the New Statesman...
John Merrick? What, the Elephant Man? What's he been up to? I thought he was dead as well. Didn't he die like 150 years ago? Okay, cool. Let's hear what he has to say. Don't do the accent. I think that would be inappropriate.
Writer has said that he challenged your claim that in Chester East 67% of school pupils speak English as additional language. He says he's looked it up. The government number is actually 10%.
Miriam, that's look, all of the numbers.
You're misdirecting. You're misdirecting English as an additional language as not speaking English.
All of the numbers that I've just read out are from official Department for Education data. Now, people on the left...
Okay, but she just told you that that wasn't true. She literally just told you that the government's figure was not 67%, but was 10%. So like, you're just lying, I think. Is that true? I hope this is true. I hope she said it, and I hope it's true. Liz Truss, technically former Prime Minister, suggests underground transgender mafia. By the way, can we get some underground transgender mafia in chat? Massive fans of the underground transgender mafia. May be responsible for the Italian chocolate heist that saw over 12 tons of Kit Kats stolen. That would be an amazing band name. Helena confirmed. True. Well, she is. She is the Don Corleone of the underground transgender mafia. You can tell her I said that.
Like Andy say, what's the problem with children speaking English as an additional language? It's basically your perception.
Yeah.
Well, exactly, yeah. Like, even if your numbers were correct, which they are not, I don't care. I couldn't give a fuck. Because, again, it's an additional language. So, as long as they still speak English, at least to a conversational level, that's fine then. I genuinely don't give a shite. Yeah.
That's your view, it's your opinion, it's not fact. We're allowed to debate that. I find it incredibly disturbing that, for example, 1 million people in...
What the fuck? Is this the Telegraph? How is this legal? That has to be hate speech. That has to be hate speech. Stephen Pollard writes, Zach Polanski, the useful court Jew. Under his leadership, the Green Party provides a home not just for Islamists, but also for anti-Semites, who were too blatant even for Corbyn's Labour. Yeah, other people are anti-Semites, not you, Stephen Pollard. Yeah. Please go to Switzerland.
In our country, according to the census, cannot speak English well or at all. I find it uncomfortable, as do, let me finish please, as do millions of people in this country, that large majorities of children in our schools no longer speak English as their main language. Guess what?
No, I couldn't give a fuck. I don't care.
I know the left's instinctive reaction is to control the conversation and shut it down, but the reason...
You're the one who's literally just shut down the other person trying to speak. Because you want to finish, even though you're just repeating the same point over and over.
I wrote this book is because people out there need to know what is actually going on.
Like, you know, with accurate quotes and statistics that are true. Yeah. That'll tell you where I got the source from later.
In our schools, why should they pay 230 million quid over the last few years on translation services in public institutions? Do you think that's acceptable?
Yes. Yeah, it's 230 million quid. We are a $1 trillion economy, or £1 trillion economy. Why would I give a fuck about 230 million? Like, the civil service spend that much on fucking staples. Like, I don't give... It's 230 million pounds. It's nothing. It's not even a drop in the bucket. It's a grain of sand on a beach. You fucking sweaty turd.
That's got nothing to do with school children. That's got nothing to do with school children, and you know, why should they pay $12.99 for that book? Is the question. Let me respond. Let me respond, Matthew. Let's talk about the facts.
What do you mean allow the debate? Motherfucker, he's on your channel. He's on the channel you are employed by to talk to you. At your request. How is he not allowing the debate? Why are you whining like that?
You're implying that this amount of students that are EAL don't speak English, or don't speak it as well as their main or first language. That's absolutely untrue. Let's have a fact, shall we? At age 16, pupils recorded as EAL have an average attainment 8 score of 49.3 compared to the average of 46.9 for monolingual English speakers. So 3 GCSE grades higher. That's Lindorf-Strand and Marr 2025. There's the reference. So
you see what he's done there is he's told you where he's got that information from, Matt. That's why you're unhappy, because that has confused your brain. Because he didn't just get that from ChatGPT, he looked it up from an actual source that investigated it. This person who, by his own admission, is not an intellectual, has not engaged in science at the university level and blah, 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 is like knowledge mogging you right now. He is uni mogging you really badly.
people aren't not learning English, they're actually learning English and doing better in school than their monolingual. That's a fact, Matthew.
Andy.
That is a fact.
It's an opinion.
Well, no, it's not an opinion.
No, it's not an opinion. He just cited the statistic. They do better. Oh, the Don Corleone of the underground transgender mafia with an absolute fucking banger. I bring you love. It's bringing you love. Don't let it get away. Break its legs. I watched that episode of The Simpsons a huge amount of times because one of the videos we had videotapes because I'm very old, you see. We had videotapes, and a few of them we had there were some Andy Pandy videos we had. Love that series. Even the black and white ones. We had a Muppets Christmas Carol. So I've seen that film. Literally must have seen that film 100 times. And we had a Simpsons cassette that had this episode and like 3 other episodes on it. So I've seen this episode a billion. I can quote basically the entire fucking show for you. You got a gifty, did I? Thank you. I can't give a dug for gifting us up to Matt GPT. Which was created in 2018. So there you go. So that isn't even like a meme based on the thing. That's the real person. Okay. Anyway, that gets what's it called on Blue Sky? Skied? I don't fucking know.
1 million people in this country do
Miriam,
not
it's
speak
49.3.
English well.
Miriam, it's
or at all.
49.3.
Okay, but like, have you seen some of the reform people? They don't speak English very well. Have you heard Paul Merson, a man who literally played for the England football team, try to speak English? It's gibberish. Absolute fucking nonsense. Like, there are plenty of people born and bred here who can't... Trust me, I live in Birmingham. There are some people who are just indecipherable. And I can speak... I'm like the Brum Whisperer, right? I can translate for you. It's nonsense. Yeah, there are 1 million people, and most of them were born here. Yeah.
3 higher than 46.9.
I think.
Please.
So. I think. Let me try and land.
He's vilifinising school children.
Let me try and
Miriam.
land on the difference of opinion here. So, of course, whether or not you think it's a good thing or not that people have multiple language, that is a matter of political opinion, and we'll come on to that. But I think the challenge is, Matt, that from Andy and others, is have you misunderstood?
John Cleese, right. Tony Blair has called the relationship between the left and Islamists an unholy alliance and says it must end. I never thought this day would come, but I agree with Tony Blair wholeheartedly. Do you? And John Cleese says, I agree. John, can you just hurry up and die, mate? Every day that you continue to not die is just more and more of your legacy that you're destroying. What was a great legacy. Your early work was superb. Your obviously transition into Monty Python's Flying Circus, the series and the films, absolutely superb. A Fish Called Wanda, great film. Some of your writings I read as well are excellent. A very, very funny man who made great contributions to British culture. And every day you continue to not die, every day you continue to exist still, you're just destroying all of that goodwill. Because you're a horrible old cunt. You're a horrible, nasty, spiteful old cunt. Just fucking die. Oh, we're on a hype train. Thank you to I can't give a dog for gifting a sub to Cicero, spelt wrong, unless it's Cicero with it's as opposed to Transero. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, thank you for that. We're on a hype train. If we get to level 2 of the hype train, I will oh god, who's gonna have? I was about to say I'll save a fingering for when John Cleese dies, but that's not how it works. They have to already be dead. I will finger... Fuck it, Augusto Pinochet. He popped into my head for no reason particularly. I will finger Augusto Pinochet's bumhole if we get to level 2 of the hype train. Why don't Coca-Cola want to advertise here? They used to love fascists. Not that I'm a fascist, that Augusto Pinochet was a fascist. Did I just burn myself there? I think I did. Thank you, Wayward Historian. With 1312 randomly numbered bitties, that could mean anything. Who knows? Fuck the police! Fuck the police! You come to me on the day of my daughter's bottom surgery and didn't bring the chocolate. That was me as Don Corleone, played, of course, by noted penis enjoyer Marlon Brando. He did enjoy penis. He was a bisexualist. We need to make you a list of somewhat unknown dead fascists. True. But then, you know what you're going to do? If you make that list, I'll just end up reading about these fascists I've never heard of before. And then I'll become a more rounded and knowledgeable person, which is just gay.
understood the EAL data. Does the EAL data, the English as an additional speaker of other languages, does it tell us that children don't speak English, or is it just that they are exposed to other languages? Because they are two very different things.
No, I understand what the debate is about. This book is about what does it take...
Yeah, but what's the answer to that question specifically? Do you think you've misunderstood that definition?
No, I don't think I've misunderstood that definition. This book...
So you did it on purpose?
Right, let him answer.
That's worse.
It feels like I'm debating two people rather than one.
Oh, the host is asking me to answer questions. I spent the day with a 2-year-old, and they were way more adult than you are currently being, Matt. Okay? This is pathetic. Whiny, whingy, just awful behaviour. You're a brat. You're a brat and a loser. You're a fucking embarrassment. Jesus Christ. Like, did you think that you were just going to be able to trot out your talking points and that no one would, like, ask you a question? Did you think that people would just accept your fucking bullshit? Maybe the host of the show is annoyed at the fact that you won't answer any questions and that you're obviously lying to their audience.
You're in the wrong, Matthew, that's
Andy,
why.
I am just trying to get specific answers to the specific
Am I
things.
actually allowed to
You
speak?
are, go for it.
Right.
Am I allowed to speak? Am I even being allowed to speak? You've spoken more than he did. God, you're a fucking loser. Oh my God.
Wank!
What a... literally.
The melt.
Okay, and they share the language because they speak English perfectly well. Also, there are multilingual countries. Canada is a multilingual country. America is a multilingual country. Britain is a multilingual country. People speak Welsh. People speak... Hang on, what the video...
Sense of collective memory, and you don't have a shared way of life. The reason I look at what's going on in nursery...
Why? It's not muted. What are you talking about? Was it silent? What happened there then? Hang on, we'll skip back then.
Shared language, because without a shared language, you don't have a shared culture, you don't have a shared identity, you don't...
Anyway, the point being, we share a language. We share a language. But also there are different speakers. There is people who speak Welsh, people who speak Gaelic, people who speak Scots Gaelic, people who speak Cornish, people who speak Scouse, which is a different language. That is just a different language. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the Scouse people, but that is not English. That is its own thing. It has evolved away from the English language into its own language family now. Same with Geordie, to be honest.
You don't have a shared sense of collective memory, and you don't have a shared way of life. The reason I look at what's going on in nurseries, in primary schools, in secondary...
It's because you're a nonce. That's cheap. That's cheap, Kev. That's low. No. That's... We don't need to go to that place. You don't need to mention it. Unnecessary, Kev. Stop it.
Secondary schools, and the rise of bilingualism or multilingualism is because, as Samuel Huntington pointed out 25 years ago with regards to other countries around the world, what you end up doing over time is you fragment the things that hold a nation together. I'm deeply concerned about a fact that Andy has avoided throughout this debate. For example, not only that
he's not addressing his misrepresentation, he's moving on. He's moving on. He lied about the Ofsted report. He's lied about the numbers. He's lied about primary school kids.
I will make sure those questions are answered.
I'm sure you won't.
It deeply disturbing, the numbers that I just read out, like I find it deeply disturbing that at least 1 million people in our country cannot even speak our national language well or at all. I know the left don't care about this. I do. I'm happy to be on...
Yeah, because you're a fascist. Yes, we know.
Popular for pointing these things out.
No, you're unpopular because you're just a dislikable little rat boy. That's why.
There's a lot in here you've not picked me up on as well, like the enormous numbers of people in some areas who reject our English, British and UK identity.
You gave me 2 segments, Matt.
Don't get. I reject those things. Fuck them. You can be what you want to be. Yeah. Like yeah. Ugh. Who cares?
That's not on. You've not talked about that at all.
Because there are things that, you know,
because it's from the census.
You can get into the misinterpretation of all of that, but these are objective lies. You know, EAL as well isn't in the census.
It's an opinion,
in the school census.
Andy.
It's in the school census, but that's by the by. Quote, many pupils join the school with extremely limited English. This significantly slows the pace of learning. End quote. What Ofsted report is that from?
The Bell Foundation report, their submission to the Parliamentary Committee.
So that is not an Ofsted report. You'll notice, Matt, what you just did then, you were asked specifically where the quote that you claim was from Ofsted in your book, so an official government entity that is there to check on schools, you claimed they'd said that, and now you're saying that there's, look, this right-wing pressure group that spoke before Parliament said it? That is a misattribution. A knowing and purposeful misattribution. In other words, a lie. You lied, Matt. Yeah. You're a bullshitter. You're a liar. Yeah.
Election report. You made it seem like that's an Ofsted report, Matthew.
For viewers at home who are going to find this rather niche, let me just explain.
But you're lying about kids, Matthew.
There is a view on the left that none of this is a problem. There is another view.
Matt, answer the fucking question. Look, this is the thing. He may not be electable, but he is still a politician, right? Because he's not answering the question at all. He's a bullshitter, just deflecting away to anything else.
On the right, that what we're seeing in classrooms today is...
He's the British Charlie Kirk. No, he hasn't got any holes in his neck. He's nothing like Charlie Kirk. Although his wife may be fucking J.D. Vance, we don't know.
So overwhelming for teachers that they find it hard to deliver their jobs. There is also a point that nobody's mentioned in this debate so far, which is what about native English-speaking kids, British kids?
Native? That's a thing, apparently. So apparently, if your parents were born elsewhere, but you are born here, you're not native. But if you're white, if you're born here and your parents were born here, you're native. That's how that works. But it's nothing to do with whiteness. No.
What about them being in classrooms with multiple dozens of languages and so on? What about the impact?
Being in classrooms with multiple dozens languages? The fuck are you talking about? Where is this? Where is any of this happening? You fucking lying cunt. Oh my god. Anyway. His wife wishes it was the English Charlie Kirk. Disavow.
Impact on those children today relative to their predecessors 20, 30, 40 years ago. I'm going to have this debate out because I care about this country. You can't shut me down by trying to...
Did I see the drag queen Erica Kirk piss take? No, I didn't. What the fuck is that? That sounds amazing. Pump it into my eyeballs now.
Focus on minor data points because you're uncomfortable with the wider argument I'm making in this book.
So no, it's not minor data points. It's that you're a shithouse who makes stuff up and just invents numbers and quotes. It's not minor. You're a liar. Why should we take you seriously when you make stuff up?
So looking at 30, 40 years ago, literacy is far higher today amongst the English native population, as you would put it, than it was 30 or 40 years ago. Educational standards, up. Every single metric, up. And again, these kids that are EAL, most of them speak English extremely fluently.
What do you say to Matt's allegation that you and others are only criticising this book because you disagree with the arguments within it?
I'm criticising it because it's full of lies. I would do
well, hang on. What's wrong with that? What would be wrong with criticising him based on things you disagree about? Because look, he keeps going about the debate. Isn't that the debate? Isn't that them responding to him saying things as part of the debate? Or is the debate only when Matt gets to, like, list off his bullshit?
The same if it was someone on the left. I actively, the left are far more factional than the right. I actively get amongst it with comrades on the left that I disagree with and that are incorrect.
On the left.
And that are completely incorrect. Well, we'll talk about your comrades on the right, on the New Culture Forum. Was it New Culture Forum? You spoke about the Restore Britain boys and that they'd ruined their credibility. When you put out an AI slot book
Andy's allowed
full
to
of
ask
lies.
me a lot of questions. I can't ask him any questions.
Because you're lying.
Can I ask him one question?
I have just put to you the question that you asked, which is that whether or not he is making these allegations because of political differences.
No, it's because it's full of lies. That's why.
Okay.
I care about the truth.
Right, we're very shortly going to come to your closing statements, where you'll have 1 minute each to sum up your arguments. So I'm just going to put a couple of questions first. Andy, would you accept, if Matt makes the small corrections that he has said he's going to make about quotes and going through it with a fine-tooth comb, if he makes those corrections, are you then happy that, even though you disagree with this book, you think it's a fair summary of his opinion?
Well, I mean, yeah, but that's not the point, is that it doesn't matter, even if he goes back and corrects it now, why didn't he do that before publishing? It shows that he has absolutely no respect for the people he's trying to con money out of to buy AI slop. That's the problem. Like, it doesn't matter if you can't retroactively erase that. That's always been the case, because that's what he did.
He's going to correct the mischaracterisation of English as an additional language of school children. No, I wouldn't. The quotes, yeah. But English additional language, the villainisation of primary school kids, no.
The villainisation of primary school children.
Matt, you'll have your chance in a minute. Do you regret?
God, you're scum, Matt. You really are. Thank you. I've got that queued up for afterwards. And you'll get the live response, because I haven't seen it.
It's my question, not fact-checking it more rigorously before you published it.
I think there are a number of very minor things that will be corrected very quickly, but the broad argument here and the overall book, I completely stand by. I think it's going to be one of the most important books in contemporary history. It's a...
I mean, if you're going to bullshit, give it the big sell, I guess. What was your hero, Hitler? What was his famous quote about, what was it? To tell the bigger lie is more believable, or whatever the fuck it was. It was something like that. I'll get ChatGPT to tell me what it might kind of been, maybe. I don't know.
Already become a major reference point. It is flying out the stores, and people know they're being lied to.
OK, right. You're going to have 1 minute each to set out your...
Yeah, people know they're being lied to by you, Matt.
Closing positions, and then we'll get back to the rest of the show as normal. Andy, I'm going to let you go first.
A major reference point, yes, for what misinformation in the 21st century age of AI looks like. That's what it's a major reference point for. I think the carelessness with the truth, the seemingly AI hallucinated slop quotes it's brought up, the misinterpretation of EAL, the misinterpretation of demographic growth, all of that, I think Matt should be apologising. I think he should be apologising to the 100,000 people that subscribe to his Substack, the millions of viewers on this channel they're hard-working people, working-class people who are struggling in a cost-of-living crisis, who he's made pay $4.99 for the Kindle edition or $12.99 or whatever it is for the paperback, because this is just full of lies and it's not worth spending the money on, and he's disrespecting them by not checking it before it went out.
Exactly. It is absolutely disrespectful. It shows you have absolutely no care. You don't respect or give a shit about the people you're trying to get money from. It's grifting, horrible, slimy scumminess. It's sleazy.
Andy, thank you. And Matt, to close.
Didn't even need to take up his full minute. Didn't even need to take up his full minute. He dropped the mic, boom, it's over. Now, watch Matt not address anything he said there and just go, Muslims bad, or something.
It was 1 minute.
I stand by every single piece of evidence in this book. It has been...
Apart from the quotes that are all wrong and the numbers that are all wrong? Okay.
Peer-reviewed by some of the world's leading demographers.
Even though you don't know them.
Can I finish?
All right, he's uninterrupted. You can have an
It
extra
has
10
been
seconds.
peer-reviewed by some of the world's leading demographers. Anyone who knows...
Well, apart from you claim that you don't know who they are because it's anonymous, even though it's not.
This peer review knows it is anonymous. It is based on the...
It's not.
UK census. It is based on the same demographic projections that are used by the Office for National Statistics. It is based on 20 years of my own research. It is based on 4 months of intensive writing that took me away from my family.
Yeah, I realise your family don't want to spend time with you as well, yeah.
Family and friends. It is based on a project which...
Friends.
Which even, as I've said tonight, official detection software says only 2% of it is based on AI. And frankly, I find it insulting the way in which you've used one or two minor things that will be corrected to attack an argument.
Hang on, whoa, what do you mean minor things? You said you stand by everything, so what are you correcting? If you stand by everything, what is the correction going to be? Matthew. Curious.
That the British people need to engage with before it is too late. Because what is happening to this country...
Oh no, brown people exist. We need to do what before they take over, Matt?
Has no democratic consent, and what is about to happen in this country, it might not bother people on the left, but millions of people out there...
What's going to happen, Matt? Will we see rivers of blood? This is just coded rivers of blood. That's all this is.
Will find it deeply disturbing. This is the only book that will tell them the truth.
Only one.
Okay, thank you both.
That was nice. Okay, that was beautiful. Yeah, fuck that guy. Honestly, Matt, your career's over. Can we all have some RIPs in chat for Matt's career? Because it's definitely dead. The worst thing he ever did was running in that by-election. It was funny though. Talking of funny, Drewski's Erica Kirk skit goes viral. Okay. There are already pyrotechnics and a drag queen, so I'm in. 100%.
Get on your feet, boy!
War is raging in Iran.
We're praying for all the soldiers and...
Isn't this just... This is just Erica Kirk, isn't it? I was promised a drag queen. This is just... That's just Erica Kirk. No?
That's great that you're praying, but...
How about all the kids that died when the USA hit the towers?
It broke my heart.
In what ways have you grown closer to Jesus?
I serve a righteous God. And that is why we say our prayers.
What the fuck? Oh no. The look to cat. She does do that. She does. She's a creepy bitch. Yeah. Apparently her kid thought it was actually her. Shut up. There's no way we know that. Don't spread misinformation. We're praying for the £1,000 sisters. Did you see the Afro Man stuff? I can't give a duck. You clearly did not watch the happy hour on Friday because we covered it in great detail. Yeah, the Afro Man stuff is amazing. My lemon pound cake, it tastes so nice. It made the sheriff wanna put down his gun and cut him off a slice. A lemon pound cake. I had that song stuck in my head all fucking weekend. There was also we didn't even focus on Lickum Low Lisa Ate My Niece Like Pizza is an amazing piece of slightly lesbophobic but ultimately funny rap. Or the Can You Help Me Fix My Fence is also good. Or Fix My Gate or whatever it was. Also, fuck Afro Man, he's a MAGA cunt. Is he? I'm not sure he is, but maybe he is. I don't know why you would be that into weed and be MAGA. Which, by the way, like, he's even got a weed guitar. He's got a guitar and the body of it is like a big weed leaf. And he can play. I saw a clip of him playing that guitar. And he's a fucking talented guy. Anyway. Anyway. He's a small seat conservative. Okay, that's a shame. But still, he didn't deserve to get fucked over by the police. You think that would teach him a lesson about the nature of the authoritarian state and how conservatism plays into that, but apparently not. He's a bit transphobic. Well, I mean, he's American. I assumed he was. Says the British person. Actually, to be fair, I think probably in most countries, most people aren't transphobic. It's just the highly motivated and funded right-wing twats that are, and they have an oversized influence on things. Anyway, let us not focus on the turfoids for too much time. We shall not allow them to impede our existences because they're scum. Anyway, I'm going to send you over to... Well, we have a choice. We could either go to the actually based as fuck left of the box or the Young Turks. Enjoy left of the box. And on twitch.tv, who have we got? Rhizome. We'll go over to Rhizome. Yeah. Enjoy Rhizome's witty banter and repartee. Or something. I don't know. And I will see you all probably tomorrow. Yeah, I don't know what I've got going on, but yeah, we'll do something, won't we? You know. There's no Parliament this week, so there's no... Actually, no, it's Tuesday tomorrow anyway, isn't it? So we wouldn't have Prime Minister's question. Ignore me. Right, free Palestine, free Cuba, free everything, everywhere, all the time. No pass around.